All right, let's practice some sentences. I'm going to prompt you with 5 English sentences based on the grammar from Unit 1, Lesson 17, and it's going to be your job to try to translate those sentences into Korean. The first sentence I would like you to try is I will rest a little and then go to the store. I'll give you 10 seconds and you can start now. Okay, the subject of the sentence is I, so I'll start by writing this here. Now, I want to indicate that I'm resting just a little bit, and the common way that you can say that is by putting the adverb 조금. Now, I want to indicate that I'm going to rest and then go somewhere else. So really what I have to do is sort of break this up into 2 different sections. One saying that I will rest and one saying that I will go. If I want to do that, I can put the stem of the verb to rest, and the actual verb itself, maybe I'll write the whole thing first, is shida. But that's just this, as I said a second ago, it's the stem. And what I want to do is add ko to this. And really what this allows me to say, or what it allows me to do, is to say, okay, well, this is going to happen, and then this next thing is going to happen. So right now this says I'm going to rest a little, but now I want to indicate that I want to go to the store. If I want to do that here, well, all I need to do is just sort of treat the rest of this sentence that I'm going to do after this shigo to indicate that I'm going to go to the store. Well, the place that I'm going to go is the store, so I'll write that here, kage. That's the place that I'm going, so I'm going to put the particle a onto kage to indicate that that's where I'm going. Now I just need to indicate that I'm going to go there, and it's going to happen in the future tense because I will be doing this. So kada is the verb to go, but if I want to indicate that this is going to happen in the future tense, I'm going to add this to it. And so it's going to say 갈, and then ko, and then 예요. This sentence would read, 저는 조금 쉬고 가게에 갈 거예요. The next sentence I would like you to try is, I will go to school and then study English. I'll give you 10 seconds and you can start now. Okay, the subject of the sentence is I, so I'm going to put that at the beginning. Now, very similar to sentence number 1, I really need to break this up into 2 sections. One to indicate that I will go to school, and then the next to indicate that I'm going to study English. So if I want to do that, I'll start by indicating that the place that I'm going to go to is the school. So I'm going to put 학교, followed by A to indicate that that's the place that I'm going. Now, if I'm going to the school and then at the school I'm going to be doing something, you learned in lesson 17 that what you should do is, instead of putting this ko that we saw in the previous sentence, what you want to do is add, I'll write this over on the side, either add this or this, depending on what the stem of the verb ends in. So in this case, because kada, the stem ends in a, what I want to do is I want to add this to it. So I'm going to basically add a and then so. So it's going to say 가서. Now that's just indicating that I went to school and then, or I will go to school, or I'm going to school, but I haven't really indicated what I'm going to be doing at the school. Well, what I'm going to be doing once I'm at school is I'm going to be studying English. English is the thing in which I will be studying. So I'm going to add the word for English, which is 영어. Again, that's the thing that I am studying, so I'm going to add the object particle onto it. Now I'm going to indicate that I'm going to study there. And this is happening in the future tense, so I'll put the verb 공부하다, 공부, and I'm going to put this in the future tense, very similar to what I did in this sentence up here, to say 공부할 거예요. And this sentence would read, 저는 학교에 가서 영어를 공부할 거예요. The next sentence I would like you to try is, I lay on the bed and cried. I actually had to look this up because for some reason I would more naturally say I lied on the bed and cried. But I'm really good at Korean grammar, but I'm not very good at English grammar. But I had to look this up to make sure that I actually said this correctly. It's actually lay. I'll give you 10 seconds and you can start now. Okay, this sentence, again, is sort of two separate sentences, or two separate sections to one sentence. And the first one is to indicate that you lay on the bed, or that you were lying on the bed, but this happened in the past tense. And okay, and then or while I'm laying on the bed, and as I'm lying on the bed, I cried as I'm lying on the bed. I indicated in lesson 17 that if you're doing something like this, for example, if you're standing and doing an action, or if you're sitting and doing an action, or if you're lying down and doing an action, what you should do is add that same thing that we saw up here. You want to add either this or this to the verb to indicate that you're sort of in that state as the next action happens. Well, the subject of the sentence is I, so I'll start by putting this here. I'm lying on the bed, so I'm going to indicate that by just putting 침대, and that's the place in which this is happening. So I'm going to put 에 onto 침대. Now, the verb for to lie, and I hate this word in English. I never know if it's lie or to lay or to lie, or anyways. You know what I mean if I'm talking about a bed here. You're not really lying to a bed, as in you're like telling him a trick or something like that. So if I make a mistake with this English, don't get too mad at me here, but as long as the Korean is correct, that's really all that matters to me. Now, if I'm lying on this bed, or if I lay on this bed, what I want to do is let me just write the stem of the verb, which is 눕다. Now, if I add this or this to 눕다, oh, look at this. This is going to be an irregular. Now, you learned your irregulars in lesson 7. And if you attach this to 눕다, what's going to happen is this letter down here at the bottom is going to be eliminated. And instead, it's going to, well, that letter is going to change into this. Now, the 어서 will be added directly to that. So it's going to look like this and say 누워서. Now, this is just indicating that I lay on the bed. If I want to indicate what I did as I lay on the bed, well, I have to put that after here. And there's no object. You can't really act on an object if you're crying. It's sort of one of those verbs that, like to go, or maybe something like that, where you're not really acting on an object if you're just saying you're crying. So I won't put an object here. I just need to indicate that I cried. Well, the verb for to cry is 울다. And if I conjugate that into the past tense, it would look like this. 울었어요. This sentence would read, 저는 침대에 누워서 울었어요. The next sentence I would like you to try is, we want to invite that friend too. I'll give you 10 seconds, and you can start now. Okay, the subject of the sentence is we, so I'm going to start by putting this here. Now, we want to indicate that we want to invite that friend, and that's really the object of the sentence. We want to invite that friend, but also that friend too. So that friend in Korean is, well, that is just 그, and 친구 is friend. So right now I have that friend, but I want to indicate that I want to sort of invite maybe some other friend and some other friend, but also this friend or that friend too. And if I want to do that, I have to put 도 on here. So this part here is this 그 친구도 is that friend too. Now, if I want to indicate that I invite him or want to invite him, well, if I want to indicate that I want to do any action, I need to put some verb followed by putting ko onto the stem of that verb, and then 싶다 at the end. So all I need to really do here is put the translation for to invite in this form down here to indicate that I want to invite this friend. So what I should do is put the verb for to invite, which is 초대하다. So it's going to be 초대하, and then sort of gets attached to this 싶다. This would be sort of a possible conjugation, but I always conjugate my verbs and adjectives using the informal high respect form. So it's going to be 싶어요. This sentence would read, 우리는 그 친구도 초대하고 싶어요. The next sentence I would like you to try is, I don't want to eat at home. I'll give you 10 seconds, and you can start now. Okay, the subject of the sentence is I, so I'll start by putting this here. Now, I want to indicate that I don't want to do something. It's going to look very, very similar to the end of the sentence that I had up here. However, I'm also going to add the negative ending. I'm also going to add the negative ending 지 않다 to the end of this something 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 고 싶다, or in this case it's 싶어요, but it's going to be 고 싶다, but 고 싶, and then 지 is going to be attached to that. And the verb in this case, the thing that I want to do or the thing that I don't want to do is to eat. So I'm going to just sort of start by putting that at the very end. So there's going to be a big space between I and the end, just sort of because I was just talking about this. So I know that I have to put this and then this, and that is used to indicate that one wants to do something. That's just the stem. But if I want to indicate that one doesn't want to do something, well, I need to add that to 싶다. So 지 않다 is going to be added to 싶다. Now, again, this is the just, sort of an unconjugated form of this, but usually I conjugate this into the informal high respect. So I'm going to put an, yo at the end. But really this here, and this is something that needs to be attached to something, really this is just saying that you don't want to do something, but I haven't really indicated what the verb that I don't want to do is. Well, what I don't want to do is to eat. So I'm going to put the verb 먹다, and I'm not going to actually put 다 because that's not part of the stem, but I'm just going to put just 먹 right here. And what I have in this whole form is just I don't want to eat. But if I want to indicate that it's at home, well, that's sort of the easiest part. The word for home or house is 집. And if I want to indicate that that's the place in which this action of eating is happening, you learned in a previous lesson that you have to put 에서 to indicate that. Now this sentence would read, 저는 집에서 먹고 싶지 않아요. I should point out that you don't necessarily need to use this 지 않다 form instead of using that, and I'm going to say this just because I'm afraid that I'm going to get questions about this. You could finish the sentence like this, and also, you have to indicate that you don't want to do it. So you could put this negative on here. So you could say, 저는 집에서 안 먹고 싶어요. Well, that was fun. I hope you learned a lot.